Hello, Millwall fans. Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Post-match analysis for Chat with Chaps, where it's just finished at Rodney Parade in Wales. Newport County 0, Millwall 1. It was a case of job done, really, wasn't it? I think it's what you could have asked for, really. There were a couple of nearly moments, but ultimately we controlled the game. We've gone through to the next round. We've kept a clean sheet, a load of minutes into fringe players, and to be honest, that's kind of what you want. Yeah, it would have been nice to get a few more goals that probably the second half performance deserved, but overall, decent enough. I think, let's remember, this is a Newport County side and ground that have had many a giant killing over the year. I still remember them taking Tottenham. I think Tottenham equalised in the 83rd minute, Harry Kane scoring. So this is a side that it's definitely one of the harder fixtures we could have drawn. You know, another away game, another travel to the opposite end of the country, after obviously travelling to Norwich, and again a ground that has had better sides than us come unstuck. So I think, you know, a professional performance through to the next round, and you know, some half decent performances. But what I would say is, I think that the 8 or 9 that were rested, I don't think any of them are going to be sitting there quaking in their boots. That's for sure. But let's get into it. Let's get into all that. This is going to be a really quick one. I'm not going to do a play-by-play for certain. Try and wrap this up in sort of 10 minutes or so. But this is your call to action to like this video, please. It really helps us out. If you're new to the channel, give us a subscribe, and if you're a Newport County fan, give us a subscribe. It's everything we do goes towards cancer research, so you know you'll be supporting us on the way to a good cause. Okay, so I think the team said a lot around our approach. You know, there's many players that I don't even know if they travelled, let alone weren't involved. You know, like Tanganga, Ivanovic, Negli, etc. I think they said a lot about our approach to the game. But for me, the side that started was probably very similar to what I would have expected. Probably the only one I expected to start that didn't was Wes Harding. I know he was to come on, but that was interesting there. So the side was, of course, Max Crocombe making his debut in goal. Back four, right to left, Ryan Leonard, Kamal Grant making his proper debut for the Lions, I think it was. Jake Cooper, obviously, again, says a lot, right? That he played the second consecutive 90 minutes, played the whole game. Says a lot about his fitness. Zach Sturge, good to see him back left back. Massimo Luongo, partner Luke Cundle in the centre of the park. And then kind of the front four of Josh Coburn and Macaulay Langster through the centre, and Reyes, Bangura Williams on the right, and Idemo and Maku on the left. Obviously, some of the younger lads on the bench. Howland didn't manage to come on, but of course, it's good to see Kendall and AJ Matthews on the bench as well. So I think the first 10 minutes, if I'm honest, it was, Newport very much in the ascendancy. To be honest, you probably expect that, right? You know, a cup game, they're at home. I believe they won at the weekend as well. So they certainly had the first 10 minutes. They were all over us without, creating too much. We then have a moment on 11 minutes. It was a good break from us. Leonard and Cundle connecting well, playing in Langstaff, and it was I keep saying that, I get the piss taken out of me big time. Langstaff. Ball across the box, good block from their perspective. They had their moment on 16, and now they don't score, I don't know. So it was a free kick, I believe. Ball comes into the box, and a really, really good save from Max Crocombe. Read a lot about his shot-stopping abilities, and he certainly showed that there. Really good save from him. And then there was a real scramble in the box. I think Kamal Grant did well on the line. And then finally, we kind of clear our lines. From the minute of 16 to sort of 35, I've said it was very bitty. I think we didn't really do much. There wasn't really much happening at all. on 35, I think we then started to sort of take control of the game. I think we had a Reece Bangura Williams chance from a Sturge cross. But other than that, I didn't think we created much in that first half. I think what I felt though was that they wouldn't be able to sustain the levels of pressing that they were doing in the first half, and I think that ultimately went on to show a lot more in the second half. I've noted down here that the amount of times that Leonard put the ball into the box and it wasn't finding someone. I think Leonard obviously scored the goal, defensively very sound, cover for us on the right and the left. So I think, the Sky commentator said he was up there for man of the match. Not for me. Obviously, I know he scored a very, very good goal, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But I think what it showed tonight was just how good Tristan Crammer is in terms of an attacking right back now, even though he's a centre back. And I think one of the things that I said post Norwich, and I'll say it again, it does concern me, the lack of depth, because if Tanganga or Crammer were to get injured down that right hand side, because you would assume Crammer, if Tanganga were injured or left, Crammer would play at centre back. Down the right hand side, we don't really have anyone that's got that attacking impetus that Crammer gives us. I think it just highlights just how much Crammer's come on as an attacking right back, 6'4" centre back that he is. So that's just a side note. I've said it before, and I believe in it. I do think we need some more depth down the right hand side. But what do you do? Because I understand the position from the club. You've got 4 right backs if you include Harding, Danny Mack, and Ryan Leonard on top of Crammer, and Crammer is a very, very good right back. So you'd be bringing in another right back to not play. So I do understand it, but I guess it's a very precarious position that we find ourselves in. Second half, they started bright again, first 5 or 10 minutes, some nearly moments. But I think from then on, that's when we started to really take control of the game. We get our goal on 60 minutes, a throw in. Emakhu does well, drives down the left-hand side like he always does, cuts the ball across the box. And it's a really good finish from Ryan Leonard with his weaker foot on his left foot, puts it into sort of top corner of the net. And we take our 1-0 lead on the 60-minute mark. A little note from Emakhu, because I'm going to talk a bit about the amount of chances that he had, and he was unlucky not to get a goal tonight. And I think, again, tonight we saw the best and worst of Emakhu. I think we saw a player that at times it's quite one-dimensional. It's playing on the left, knocking it past his winger and then cutting it back on the left. But it also shows you just how effective it can be, admittedly, against League 2 opposition. But the challenge is that is still very effective at Championship level with 20 minutes to go. And this is where Emakhu still has so much raw potential. But then, and you could tell how hard he worked tonight. He really did. He got serious shifting, unlucky not to get a goal. Certainly our most effective player in the second half, despite it being quite one-dimensional at times. And you can see just how effective it is. I think the challenge is that we need to see more variance in what he does and at Championship level from a starting perspective. His touch still lets him down, and I'm not sure whether, I know Harris certainly didn't, but whether Alex Neil trusts him from a defensive perspective. It's rumoured that we rejected 2 bids from Wickham for Emakhu. So I'd like to see him stay. I've said that before. I said it on one of our lives. I think he offers something different, but he will probably want to play games. So, what do you do there? But overall, I thought he was very effective for us in the second half. Certainly our most effective player in it from an attacking standpoint, and obviously had quite a few opportunities. Before we did that, though, on 63, we make some substitutions. So 3 substitutions come on. Kevin Nisbet comes on. Good to see him back. I don't know. Is it? Look, I think Alex Neil addressed this at the fans forum. He said, "Whatever happened before me happened. I wasn't here. I won't judge it. But rest assured, if anything like that happens when I'm here, it'll be quickly dealt with." So you have to trust the man. He's not really put a foot wrong since he's been in the door, Mr. Alex Neil, and maybe being a fellow Scot, he can get a lot out of Kevin Nisbet. So, from that perspective, it's our 4th striker. He came to us with high pedigree. He's clearly got a lot of technical ability. So he came onto the pitch on 63 with Daniel Kelly and Wes Harding. What happened there was that Kundal went to the right-hand side, Dan Kelly went inside. Wes Harding went to right back, and Ryan Leonard showed his versatility going to left back. We had a chance on 72 with Langstaff, semi-decent effort, and then some decent football with Nesbitt feeding Imaku on 76. Shot down low to left-hand side. Keeper makes a good save. He makes another good save on 81, where Imaku again drives low into that bottom corner. I think it was Jacob Wright in the goal, who I believe he's not a guaranteed starter, Jacob Wright. So he certainly gave himself, the best account that he could possibly tonight. I thought he was very, very good. Looked very confident and assured in the Newport goal. On 87, this was where Newport had their one chance. And it was a very, it wasn't a clear-cut chance, but I don't think Reindorf realised how much time he actually had. He just sort of snaps at it. But actually, he got the wrong side of Cooper. And if he'd have carried the ball, he probably could have had a much better chance at goal, but he doesn't. Good work from Daniel Kelly, sort of turns and drives forward, finds Harding, decent ball in, and Nesbitt should do better here. I think this just shows you how rusty he is. He should be powering that into the net, but he doesn't. We still have another chance on 90, another really good save after a counter-attack. Luongo finding Imaku, and another really smart stop from right in that goal on 90 minutes. Imaku then goes off on 90, and Sheldon Kendall comes on. I don't think it was his debut, was it? Because I think he came on in the cup last season. But good to see him back out on the pitch. And I think Imaku had worked himself into the ground, and he got the applause that he needed. For me, standout players, I think obviously I mentioned Imaku from an attacking standpoint. I thought Luongo was really tidy. You'd expect him to be at this level, but he still has to go out there and perform. And I thought Kamal Grant had a really good game, actually. I thought he looked really assured at centre back. So they would be my three standouts. If I'm honest, I thought RBW was a little bit off it tonight. Maybe that's lacking fitness, confidence, I don't know, but he certainly wasn't what we know he's capable of. So hoping that just getting those minutes into his legs will certainly benefit him. But I thought he was a little bit off the pace tonight. And I think that's really a real quick assessment. I think all I would say is we played Borough on Saturday, who kept 6 of their starting lineup from their victory over Swansea at the weekend, including all of their front three. Silvera, Bergzorg and Tommy Conway. And they lost 4-0 at home to a reserve Doncaster side. So their fans are in bits at the minute. So good opportunity on Saturday to make it 3 from 3. I certainly can't wait. I'm sure there'll be a big, big crowd down there on Saturday. Can't wait to get down there. Looks like it's going to be good weather as well. So everything is leaning towards another fantastic day of football at the Den on Saturday. And I'll leave it there. Just a real quick one, guys. Hopefully that will make sense. As always, whether you listen to this for a minute, all the way through, or whatever, I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your week. We'll see you on the live tomorrow night at 7 p.m, hosted, of course, by Mr. Joe Zampa. I'll probably make an appearance. It'll be good to see some of you there. Thanks as always for listening. And of course, as always.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.